Hello everyone and welcome back once again to PAX and Recreation. And today we're going to open something for the fun of it, don't we ever, the last set booster box. Not in the world, but the Lost Caverns of Ixalan was the set with the last set booster box, because now it's only play boosters. And set boosters are fairly new to Magic, and because before we only had boosters, then it became this thing where we have collector boosters, play set boosters, draft boosters, jumpstart boosters, your mom boosters, like everything. So there is something to the end of an era, and going into play boosters, expensive ones, which we're going to open for sure. If we're doing it already, it depends on like the order of publishing for this thing, but there is something about the end of an era, right? Like set boosters. It's fun how the like set boosters play, and I promise that we're going to open them faster than usual. That's the reason why I don't open set boosters or draft boosters that much in the channel anymore, because I know that I'm too slow. I just look at the cards and talk about them a lot. But there is something, like, by the way, I'm not the only one that loves playing with these things. Like, you just remove them and then you play with them for a while and then you throw them away. They even included a box stopper, which in my opinion should be always a thing, because it makes you feel, it's like, hey, you bought a box, thank you, like for the pros. Mimic VAT. Okay, not bad. So let's talk about set boosters for a second, right? Like, what was the purpose of a set booster? Set boosters were these not as expensive ones with art cards. I remember that I am likely one of the few people that actually like the art cards and actually like collected them. I even bought a pack once from a store. They were selling an entire collection of the art cards for a specific set. I think it was March of the Machine, if I recall correctly. And I actually bought it. I was like, oh, thank you, because I didn't have all of them. And I know what you may be thinking. Why? Because, buy the cards, right? But it's a lot cheaper to buy the art cards because no one cares about them, because you can't play with them, right? So, but, Magic is also about the art and the artists. And that, the whole community, right? So to me, when I see, I see an art card, and some of them are signed, which in my opinion, it's like, Wizards, why do you have to gachify everything? Like, everything has to be a min-max of probabilities and try to make everything into a rare collectible. If everything is a rare collectible, nothing is a rare collectible. So it kind of loses meaning, Wizards. That's what we're trying to tell you. And here with the set boosters, we had that a lot. Like, for example, you got an art card, we got 2 already, and you're like, oh man, I can collect this. Actually, it's somewhat more difficult to collect the art cards than it is to actually collect the cards in the set, because you get, the commons and uncommons, you get 15 cards per booster. Yes, you only get 1 rare or mythic. Sometimes you get lucky and you pull multiple. But your numbers, ooh, Roaming Throne, let's go. But your numbers are likely more favorable, right? So you get more slots to try and get the cards that you need. But here, these things are only 81. It's not that all the cards in the set. So it's only 81, and you have to, try to get them all. So technically, getting all the art cards is more difficult than getting all the commons and uncommons, for example. It seems, at least to me, it seems like more praisable to get all the art cards. But then again, no one cares, right? Because you're here to play with the cards, nothing else. So not much of a goal here, I guess, except for people like me. But that's only one aspect of a set booster. You normally get a token, or most of the times you get a token. These are the good tokens. It's like, oh, you want to give me an ad for a card game that I'm already buying from you? Sure. give me an ad, but give me a token on the other side, so at least I can use this placeholder for something. And sometimes you get a nice spot in there. So you're like, look at this is cool. Sometimes I use them as dividers, or write stuff on them. Like some people send postcards. You can just write something in those cards and send them. Like you have some space here to write. You can just write on top of it. If you're going to collect them, because again, it's kind of difficult to collect them. You can buy multiple set booster boxes and not have all the art cards, and yet have like 95% of the cards in the set. It's kind of tricky. And then they went there and they gotchified even more by having like, oh, but you can also have the signed ones. Ooh, Jurassic Park, let's go. Blue Loyal Raptor, love it. This card in foil is beautiful, by the way. We put it in another video, and it's just crazy. This is going to be a problem when we get like a 3/4 Thunderhawk, Shadow Volcano, and sometimes you get a card from the list, which is actually pretty cool. And you see, this is part of the appeal of the value. Let me add the cards from the list here. And the tokens, since, quote, you don't care about tokens, I'm just going to put them there. It's one of those things that I see, like sometimes they are the fun ones. Actually, Wizards always describe the set boosters as the fun ones, which is funny. Because that's what they are. So, and that's why they were kind of redundant. And ironically, these were the ones that people bought the most. So what happened? What happened was that you had the draft boosters. Those have a clear use, right? So you buy them to play Magic. So those are the ones that you're like the most worth ones. Ooh, Sahili, nice. And since those are the good ones, the others are kind of whatever. So technically you can live perfectly. Sometimes you get like nice things like this. I don't know if anyone actually uses this ever, but I don't know, sometimes I look at this and go like, still better than an ad card. So there is that. But overall, I don't know, I think that the only problem with draft boosters is that, quote unquote, due to the balance that Wizards was trying to achieve, they only added like one rare. Oh, nice! We got the card and the art card. Technically, you only had like one rare or mythic, sometimes more, and then that was disproven very fast by the Commander Masters draft boosters that can have up to 4 rares and mythics in the same booster, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's kind of crazy." But then why buy that if the set boosters had up to 6? And I remember that there was some possibility that you get 8, and it's like. Okay, I mean, back to the same question. Why would I buy a draft booster if a set booster just has, more stuff, right? And for a lot of people, that's kind of what it is. Technically, the draft boosters are made in a way so that they are easier to play with. They are made to be played with. And if you look at Wizards descriptions, it's like, oh, we have 4 types of boosters. We have set boosters, draft boosters, jumpstart boosters, and collectors, right? And collectors is easy. It's like this is the premium ones. You pay more for better pools, or everything is foil, so you're paying more, but like you're cheating the system to a degree, right? So, oh, nice, Gishath Sun's Avatar in foil. Let's go. And I was about to see like this card on the other side, but there you go, spoilers. Not bad. And I kind of also like these ones. Like, okay, you get an idea for a game. It's better than just an ad, right? I just hate the double-sided ads. It's like, why are you torturing me like that? Plus, sometimes you open it, there's like, oh, a card with the magic back. Maybe it's a card from the list, right? So you get some hype in there. The thing overall is that, so collectors is easy. You just pay more. You cheat the system. It is what it is. Then for draft is supposed to be to play Magic with, so it's for playing sealed formats, and that's like, okay, that's reasonable. I can go with that. It makes sense. It's cheaper than a set booster box, and a lot cheaper than a collector booster box. And the idea, Aqua sets, and the idea is that, well, the reasoning for that is because you get less rares and mythics, even though you get more cards per pack, because it's supposed to be for, well, actually you can also get these ones, so it's kind of meh, but it is what it is. So you get more cards in a draft booster. Like in a set booster you get 12, in a draft you get 15 if I recall correctly, but you know, again, less good cards, and the idea is for you to play. But people did the math, and it's like, well, I mean, I can get more value because, let's be honest, I'm going slightly faster than my usual, and I'm not reading every card. And if you want to check a card in detail, you can just pause the video. But you and I both know that if you, or even myself, we're opening this pack, oh nice, we're opening this pack in private, how will this be done? I will show you how this is done in private. In private, you go like this, and do this, and then go. Oh, okay, nice, cool. And like separate the card, and the rest goes to whatever, right? Because, and I know that some of you may be commenting like, well, no, I actually don't do that. I actually enjoy every card. It's like, well, I mean, every person is different, and I myself sometimes go like, oh, okay, interesting, and I read the cards, and sometimes, or look at the art, and sometimes even more like the first box that you open, or like when the set is new and you know not that much about the set, and you're like, oh, okay, interesting, and you're reading about it. It's like you're discovering, right? That's the magic, of opening a new set of cards, that you are discovering new cards, and we're like, oh, okay, crazy, which is kind of spoiled nowadays because of the spoilers, and you know, the card lists are published way ahead of time, and if you want to see if your money is worth, you see which cards are there, the probability. Sometimes you just buy the singles, which is better, but even if you just check the list to see what's up, to a degree you're spoiling yourself of being like, ooh, Primordial Nowhere, oh, okay, cool, and then you read it and you're like, oh, okay, it's kind of okay. But even if you don't read them, and let's be clear, sometimes some commons and uncommons can make big impacts in your decks, mostly in your commander decks, because they just resonate with some of the abilities from your commander, right, or some of your decks. And sometimes you watch a YouTube video from these great like YouTube EDH like deck building channels, like EDH deck building, for example, and then he says like, oh, you know, this card is very good for this deck, or let's build this deck, and he puts a bunch of commons and uncommons in that. They're like, oh, okay, that thing. So I think that Magic the Gathering has pushed its users to this, you know, value gacha mindset that is kind of not only pushing the value of everything and the amount of sets that they print each year, the amount of new cards, the amount of weird treatments and rarities, because everything needs to make money, everything needs to be rare, so that people want to buy it, so that they can resell it, because Magic is, to a lot of people, Magic is just an investment, and it's all about the second-hand market. And for other people, it's just about the power and building better decks and playing with their friends. Even in Commander, ooh, the ancient one. Even in Commander, you just want better cards, so you have a better deck, so that you can just win your friends. And win over your friends and maybe humiliate them, who knows. A beautiful card, by the way, just the way it reflects, like crazy. Ooh, Calamax, the Stormrise. Crazy. It has like a plastic treatment. It's not foil, but it looks okay. Remember, you cast your first instant spell each turn. If Calamax, the Stormrise, is tapped, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you copy an instant spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Calamax. Okay, not bad. No way to go crazy over it, but not bad. Right here. See, like, there's so many types of things in this booster that they don't fit the screen even. Like, we have the Jurassic Park card. 1 in 12 boosters includes 1 Jurassic Park card. And then you have like the list, and you have the special guests, and you have the art cards, and sometimes you have tokens, and, you know, it's like so much stuff, which is nice, because it's like you're opening a set booster, and it's always like, what's going to come out of it? And, you know, it's always fun. You're always pulling something different, but at the same time, it's like, it's a lot to the senses, right? It's like, geez. But as I was saying, I think that Magic is just pushing their players to have this value-oriented mindset, I mean, it's not bad, but there is a reason why, when you see people opening packs, they open them as I showed you, like right now, because you know that the rares are the mythics are not only the expensive ones normally, or because they are rarer. So that's there is the reason, right? Like there's only one slot for those, so the probabilities are what they are. So, but they are also the most powerful ones. So you can just like we play over all these cards that have all this work from designers and artists, because in order for you to have good cards, someone has to design the mediocre ones or even the bad ones, right? And but they need to be just the right amount of mediocre or bad, because if you are too bad or too mediocre, no one is going to touch them with a laser pointer. And that kind of happened already with a lot of cards across multiple sets. That it's just cardboard fodder. And I've been looking into it recently, and to be honest with you, I think that the healthiest way to like play Magic is just playing virtually. I'm not even saying arena, because arena, God knows, is kind of expensive, but like in cockatrice or like all these things that you can just emulate how a deck works and then go like, and then go buy the singles. Because if you want to play with your friends, of course, because if your friends are all playing online, it's like, then I guess there's no reason for you to buy cards, is there? But yes, it's always fun to go or buy a box or a booster and play, the gambling game, because this is gambling. And you just go like, okay, look, a Jurassic Park card is a Plains. Sucks to be me. Okay, Echoing Deeps, not bad. And then, Armor King color. Well, nice. It's a common, but it's nice, Oh, look, a card from the list. Magia, Bretagar Protector. Cool. Okay, I guess my investment was not worth it in that booster, right? It's just, that's why in their website, they describe the, like, Jumpstarts are just, besides Jumpstart and Jumpstart 2022, every Jumpstart set box is just trash. Like, you can watch the videos of us opening those, and it's just trash. Like, don't. But they're supposed to be like, easy play, thematic. You buy two, you build a deck, right? Kind of thing. That's okay. But set boosters, they describe them as the fun ones, because I mean, you can't play with them. They have a bunch of stuff in there for you to go like, oh, okay, cool, crazy stuff. But they are not optimized for anything except for your money, I guess. So it's kind of a shame that they went away, but actually people just did the math and it's like, well, might as well just buy set boosters than draft boosters, and we can try and play draft with set boosters. It's okay. At least we get more value. And then one has to wonder, right? Like, this is a business, you need to keep it running. It's all about printing new cards, have people always buying new sets, etc. It's a big corporation inside of another big corporation, employing a bunch of people, and a lot of millions of players all around the world, just with different decks, different tastes in planes, heroes, and all that. So that's why they never settle in a single plane anymore, because it's like no. Like every month is a new product. So, but like if we are changing planes in the main sets every 3 months, it might as well be a different plane, so we can grab as much people as we can, and just let's go for it. And to me, I mean, that's valid, but it becomes very difficult for you to follow what's happening with the game. Not only in terms of cards, like what each card does, but like everything. I guess that if you go by Richard Garfield's famous comment of like, in his head, the ideal way of playing Magic is that when you go and fight a new player, if you don't recognize any of their cards, that's great, right? That's Richard Garfield's vision, and I see that, and I think that we're already way beyond that point. I mean, if you are a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, sure, you likely know them all, or at least you recognize them. But this also brings the question, right? Like, which ones do you recognize? You recognize the good ones, the rares and the mythics, I guess. And you don't recognize promising vein, a common land cave that does whatever, right? But that's the thing. You need the bad cards, the shitty cards. You need them to have like balanced experiences. But then again, it's like, how many people actually sit and play with this? That's why I am becoming more and more appreciative of Pauper. And Pauper, if you don't know, is just like you can only play with commons and uncommons, and depending on, like, if you play Pauper Commander, your commander must be an uncommon, it doesn't need to be a legendary creature. And for some people, like, then you have Pauper in other formats, and then sometimes it's only commons, sometimes it's commons and X uncommons. Sometimes it's cards that can go over a certain value. So, for example, no card more expensive than $1 or something like that, or or 50 cents or whatever. And the way that things are being reprinted, it's easy to have things not worth over $1. But to me, it's more about the creativity, right? Like, for example, look at these cards we're opening. Let's say that you and I buy a set booster box. We open it for fun, like we are doing, and we just do a cube and try to do like 2 decks with this stuff as it is, right? Or just try to play draft with a set booster box, which, I mean, for that, just buy a draft box, but we no longer have that. So, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that sometimes we try to over optimize, and if you're already buying boxes of Magic cards, even if you only buy one, if you are that type of person, it's like, nah, I only buy one per set, just to get a little taste of the set and go like, okay, maybe I get a couple of good pulls, I sell everything that I'm not interested on, or maybe you don't sell it, or I don't know. And some people, for example, don't even do that. Some people just do, okay, I just buy the singles, for example, or they just buy one commander deck. It's okay. Everyone has their different way of, connecting to the game. That is according to their wallet, their time, their patience. And I think that, the healthiest way is exactly that. It's having a mechanism that works for you, that doesn't bankrupt you, because this is very easily a hobby that can become crippling and can hurt you financially and in multiple ways, because it's addicting, right? It's collecting, is loot boxes, is gacha, is betting, right? It's like, oh, am I going to get that card? Am I going to get that card? It's like, likely not. Like, you can read the probabilities for each type of rarity in the boxes, and even in the boosters, I think it's printed as well. Like, this is gambling. So this is fun, don't get me wrong. Like, oh yeah, cool. Look at this card. And when you get a good pull, you're like, yay. But if you do the math, it's like, let's be honest, the box costs you like, I don't know, for example, look, good pull, right? It's like the box costs you like, I don't know, $120 or something, and then you get a card that is worth $8 or $10. It's like, oh, crazy. See, like two mythics in the same booster. Am I going to recap the cost? Spoilers, I am likely not. And in my case, I don't care, because I do it for the videos, and then, then I give some cards to my friends, or like I sell some online, or they just go to the collection because I like collecting cards since I was young. But, but I don't buy like, I don't know, 70 boxes per set. I buy like 1, 2, just, everyone according to their life and capabilities, just whatever makes sense for you. But sometimes, and this happened with some sets I like more than others, right? Is for me, me, if you're already in this channel, it's all about the theme and the flavor and how things. Oh, Command Tower from Jurassic Park and Indoraptor, 2 cards from Jurassic Park in the same booster. Crazy, guys. Ding, 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 ding. See, this is the type of thing that I mean, right? I will be like, whoa, double Jurassic Park, like and subscribe. It's like, well, this is actually kind of freaking lucky, because it's not supposed to go like this. But again, this is gambling. So likely yours are not going to be like this. Maybe you open 5 boxes and you don't get that exact card, or even 2 Jurassic Park cards in the same booster. And, whose fault is that? Actually, it's just yours for believing that, oh, if I buy a box, I will get that. There's no certainties for that. So it's just you and your wallet, my friend. So, whatever makes you happy, whatever rings your bell, just have fun, crack it. But one thing that I will defend is that if you're cracking the boxes, might as well use them, right? Like, for example, try to play like a mini cube or something with the cards that you get in there. I don't know, because if it's just opening to see if you have like the good cards and they're like, oh, and everything else is chaff, as some people refer to them, or bulk, then that's kind of sad. I was looking into techniques for collecting Magic the Gathering cards, like storing and collect the collections, right? Because, well, as you can see by now, I certainly have a big number of cards, and I want to organize them properly. Because, as we always say in this channel, if you don't track your stuff, it's the same as not having anything. Because you can have 3 million cards. If I ask you for one and you can't find it in a reasonable time frame, then do you really have the cards? Oh, from the commander decks. Like, maybe you don't. You're just hoarding, right? So, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And I was reading into, okay, but how do you do? Because I see that people overall sometimes just put all the mythics and rares into a binder, and then everything else just goes into a shoebox. And I'm like, well, okay. Or just things that cost over $1 or something, and then everything else goes into a shoebox, and it's like, yikes. And I'm saying, all my collection is by sets, both like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, everything is by sets. So I look in the app if I have it, and it's like, oh, it's in this set, and that set is in this box or in this binder, right? And I go there, and that's it. But I was wondering, like, what's the best way of doing it? Because, oh, it's Cool Sport Nexus. Because it's like, it gets complicated after a while. And there is no clear way, but one thing that I'm doing, oh, the Mid-Hawk Massacre. One thing that I am doing for sure is I am considering putting at least 1, 2, 3 copies of each card that I have in the binder, and then yes, everything goes into a box somewhere. But this debate sparked because I was showing a friend of mine like the collection, and it was one of the binders. It was for March of the Machine. As you know, I like that set against all odds, and he looked at the binder and he's like, why do you have commons and uncommons in the binder, bro? What's up? Binders are only for like mythics and rares. And I'm like, no, because it's the binder for the set. It's the collection of the set, right? Like I have like the foils, the weird treatments, but I have like in collector number from 1 to, I don't know, 300 and something. And he was like, no, like no one saves in a binder the commons and uncommons. No one cares. And I was like, huh. And reading online a bunch of opinions, turns out that apparently, yeah, I am the minority here. Like, no one cares about commons and uncommons. No one stores them in any graceful way besides, in a box. And they just care about the rares and the mythics. And similar things happen to the art cards. Like, a lot of people just throw them away or just, like, use them as dividers or cut them or whatever. And, I don't know. I guess this is just, like, a funky story time with Grandpa just for pointing at how ironic is that, right? Like, everything is cardboard. On paper, everything has the same value because it's just stuff printed on cardboard. It's the same type of cardboard. Sometimes, yeah, you have like a weird treatment and therefore it's not the same type of cardboard. But, Huatli, Poet of Unity. The card is not very good, but I never saw this treatment slash... Oh, even more is in foil, crazy. Then becomes a saga. Just as a reminder, Huatli was a planeswalker and then no longer. So see, it's like cardboard, the value that we give to say cardboard, it just depends on what's written in there, which is funny because then, you know, what is a proxy if not exactly the same? But then some people hate them and they feel it's unfair because you didn't pull that card, you didn't buy it from a stranger. And it's like, well, where is the limit? Is it you can only play with a card if you pulled it, if it's your luck, because it's only luck, where luck and money, to be honest. Because if it's a original card, but you bought it from a person online, aren't you cheating the system? Like, you didn't pull that card, you're buying it from another dude that was luckier than you. You're reducing your risks. And then your friend comes with a printed proxy and is like, oh, no, that's not okay. It's like, why not? Isn't it the same, right? Like, isn't it cardboard and ink all together? Like, this is the last booster, by the way. This was a lot faster than usual, I told you. I know this is like a hairy topic, and it depends, right? Obviously, in a sanctioned tournament, it doesn't work like that. You can only work with official stuff. And I know, I understand the side of people that don't like playing against proxies, because, you know, it depends on, this is all house rules, right? So when we play with proxies in our group, as long as we're all in agreement that, you know, the value of the proxies, you know, we have some rules, like, oh, you can only have, I don't know, 15 cards in your commander deck proxied, right? And, or like, let's try to not proxy anything that is over $50 or something, you know, things like that. Because otherwise, you can just proxy the craziest commander deck and then good luck and have fun, right? It's like, no one is going to have fun except you. But then that's something that you need to define with your group. And that is the fun thing about this. In an officially sanctioned tournament, it's not like that. And it makes sense that it needs to be official product. But then at the end of the day, isn't this about playing? Why is the difference between buying it online for X or just printing it yourself if it's to play with your friends? There is no merit here. You didn't pull it. You didn't make it. Like, it's just a nice card. And again, I'm not advocating for piracy. Again, look at all the cards that I open in this channel. I like card games, but it's just weird how our brain works with value and all that. And this is all about set boosters and the last set booster box. This is a type of box that was made for fun, and it has Jurassic Park because, of course, Ixalan, and it has questions, and it has like all the probabilities, and it tells you like, hey, watch out, the probabilities are this and that, but, you know, set booster boxes are for fun. And, you know, they even have like, what's new in them? It's like, well, you have Jurassic World and special guests and cool stuff. It's like, well, you know, this is just for collecting. And now it's gone. Play booster boxes are the follow-up. And actually, the last draft booster boxes are not from Ixalan, are for Ravnica Remastered. But let's see, because maybe next year, when they do... what's the next remaster set? Is Innistrad. Is it going to be draft and collector? It's going to be play boosters and collector. Technically, it should be play boosters, but who knows with Wizards, right? So, I don't know. This was kind of a podcast opening box thing, so let me know down below if you agree, if you don't agree, what are your takes on these things, and if you're going to miss set booster boxes or not. I don't know. Let's see. Certainly, the price is not the same, but you know what's priceless? Your time. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.